Breaking news. Pope urges the world to listen to his final message. As his condition takes a turn to the worse, he gives his seemingly last message to the world. What is this message all about? Is it a biblical message or a message of spiritualism?
Let's get more on the breaking news out of Rome now, where the Vatican has revealed that Pope Francis stopped breathing twice in the last 24 hours, suffering from 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure.
For more, Vatican correspondent Colin Flynn joins us live in Rome. Good morning. This time yesterday, it really seemed like the Pope was getting better. What changed?
Yeah, good evening, Nat and Matt from Rome. Good morning to you guys. Last week even, every day the Vatican told us that the Holy Father's condition was improving, or at least that it was stable. But over the weekend, it seems it has taken a turn for the worse, especially over the past 24 hours. The latest statement that we have just received in the last hour or so from the Vatican saying that today, Pope Francis, he suffered from 2 episodes of acute respiratory failure. Now, this is the first time the Vatican have used the word failure.
Do you think the detail is in preparedness, I guess, for the world and potentially what lies ahead?
You know what? That's a great question, Matt, and people have been wondering about that around here because just take, for example, when the Queen, God rest her, was alive, you would never hear Buckingham Palace give this kind of detail.
Even from his hospital bed, frail but determined, Pope Francis continues to push the Jesuit agenda, calling for world peace and unity despite his deteriorating health. His message to world leaders is to embrace peace and work for reconciliation by entrusting their souls to Mary. Even in the face of death, Pope Francis remains committed to the ultimate mission of the Vatican by continuing to spread the wine of Babylon from his so-called deathbed. The following was published by the Jesuit magazine America while Pope Francis was in the hospital. Pope Francis, in a message from Gemelli Hospital, asked for prayers for peace in the conflict areas of the world. I quote, "I greet all the pilgrims present in Rome today," the Pope said in his message, and as he does often, he urged them to pray for an end to the conflicts in the world. He says that he concluded his message by encouraging people to entrust themselves to Our Lady, Mary, the Queen of Heaven, that she, Mary, be like her, chorus and creators of the beauty that saves the world. Pope Francis encourages us to embrace Mary, that he will entrust the souls in this world into the hands of Mary. Pope Francis, who was basically consigned to the grave, refuses to remain silent from his hospital so-called deathbed, where the world watches and waits for news about his condition. He continues to push his message and has not given up. Even as death looms, he is undeterred, using what so many have said as his final moments to continue to spread the lies of spiritualism, calling on people to put their faith on Mary, meaning to put their faith in the spirits of the dead. Mary, Sunday sacredness, and spiritualism are the 2 great errors that constitute the Jesuit agenda. Dear friends, I ask you, would you entrust your soul to Mary? Would you entrust your soul to someone who is in the grave? The Mary that I know from the Bible is in the grave. In times of crisis, when death looms and uncertainty grips our hearts, there is only one true hope, and that is Jesus Christ. He alone faced the grave and conquered it, rising again in victory over sin and death. When fear and despair threaten to consume us, we must place our faith in Him, not in Mary or any of the dead saints. because it was Jesus alone who said, I am he that liveth and was dead, and behold, I am alive forevermore, amen, and have the keys of hell and of death. Revelation 1 verse 18. Rome will never stop, dear friends. As Pope Francis lays in his hospital bed, and quite possibly in his seemingly deathbed as his condition continues to worsen, Cardinal Timothy Dolan took his podcast to deliver a stunning message, Muslim holiday of Ramadan. In that message, Dolan refers them as our Muslim brothers and sisters, sparking quite controversy online. Calling Muslims as brothers and sisters implies there is a bond connecting the two religions that are very far apart.
Imam of Al-Azhar, Dr. Ahmed At-Tayeb, have signed the historic Abu Dhabi Declaration on Human Fraternity in the UAE. The document on human fraternity for world peace and living together seeks to encourage stronger relationships between people, to promote coexistence among peoples, and to confront extremism and its negative impacts. The signing ceremony was in the presence of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum and His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan.
Yes, not as far as you might think when you consider the alliance forged by Pope Francis over past 12 years ago between Islam and the Roman Catholic Church.
Hi everybody, it's Friday, the last day of February. Cardinal Dolan here, thanks for joining. You realize that tomorrow Ramadan starts? Ramadan is the season of penance for our Islamic brothers and sisters. Do they ever take it seriously? It's fasting and prayer. Now, I always remember, I wasn't here in New York long, I got into a cab, and it was kind of a hot day, because Ramadan's not always in March, it moves around, so this must have been a heated month. And I had a bag of some water, and I was so thirsty, I took some water and I drank it. And I said to the driver, would you like some water? And he said, you bet I'd like some water. I am very thirsty, but it's Ramadan, and I cannot take water till the sunset. That's how seriously they take their fasting and prayer. Now, I tell you that to shame you, because Ash Wednesday's coming up, all right? Ash Wednesday is this coming Wednesday, and that's kind of our Catholic Ramadan. So let's unite with our Islamic brothers and sisters in prayer and fasting. See you at Easter.
Dear friends, they are aggressively uniting all the major religions of the world for one agenda: the enforcement of a mandatory day of worship. Has Ash Wednesday become the Catholic Ramadan? It sure has, and a whole lot more than that. Catholic Cardinal Dolan said he was giving this message to shame Catholics into becoming more like Muslims, and concluded his fiery missive by saying, let's unite with our Muslim brothers and sisters in prayer and fasting. While holding a piece of cake or bread, Dolan even went so far to call the Roman observance of Ash Wednesday as the Catholic Ramadan. X.com says, a post here, was Cardinal Dolan way off base when he demanded that all Roman Catholics pray for our Muslim brothers and sisters this Ramadan? Not according to the work of Pope Francis has already done since 2019 in forging an alliance between Islam and the Vatican-Islam. Ash is indeed symbolic in the Bible, but Jesus did not place ashes on anyone's forehead. The practice was institutionalized by Pope Urban II in 1091. It was not a Christian thing. There was a time that no one practices it, and it does not exist. Ash Wednesday, a Roman Catholic feast day and a man-made festival. There isn't a single word or hint concerning Ash Wednesday in the entire Bible. These celebrations are on an equal level with Sunday keeping, the immortality of the soul, and papal supremacy. Why? Because Ash Wednesday is associated with Easter Sunday in Roman Catholic tradition, Easter in commemoration of the pagan goddess Ishtar. Ash Wednesday, according to Catholic theology, is the first day that marks the beginning of Lent and takes place 6.5 weeks before Easter Sunday. It is a celebration for people to prepare for Easter Sunday. Dear friends, did you know that the black horse gives us a concrete explanation of this Christian era? Revelation 6 verse 5. So I looked, and behold, a black horse, and who sat on it at a pair of scales in his hand, and what Satan cannot accomplish through persecution, he will accomplish through compromise. This is the period of the Church of Pergamum. Satan's throne was in Pergamum. This is the transition when Constantine, the emperor of pagan Rome, gives his throne power and authority to the papacy. Great compromises began into the Christian church, and in the 4th and 5th century, Satan led the church to adopt pagan practices. They will teach doctrines contrary to the Bible. They will teach perverse and crooked things, and there will be a mixture of paganism and Christianity. Paganism, while appearing to be vanquished, became the conqueror. Her spirit controlled the church. Her doctrines and ceremonies and superstitions were incorporated into the faith and worship of the professed followers of Christ. So many of these new converts just relabeled their idols with Christian names like Paul, Mary, and Peter. A statue of Jupiter becomes a statue of Peter. But this is not Peter, but a pagan statue that has been renamed and relabeled. And take note of the sun disk on its head, representing sun worship. Isis carrying his son Horus was relabeled Mary carrying the baby Jesus. We are told that Constantine, in order to recommend the new religion to the heathen, transferred into it all the outward ornaments to which they have been accustomed in the religion, the use of temples dedicated to particular saints, incense, candles, holy water processions, the ring in marriage, turning to the East images at a later date. All are of pagan origin and sanctified by their adoption into the church. Idolatry stands side by side with making the sign of the cross. AD 320, veneration of angels and saints and use of images. 375, Mass as a daily celebration. AD 394, beginning of the exaltation of Mary's Mother of God. AD 431, doctrine of purgatory. AD 593, prayers for the dead. And to Mary, AD 600, kissing the Pope's feet. AD 79, holy water. AD 850, canonization of dead saints. AD 995, and the greatest abomination of all in the sight of God, Sunday sacredness as the holy day of God. Constantine the Great, March 7, 321 AD, on this day, Constantine decreed the day of the sun as the day of rest. Constantine decreed the day Solis, or the day of the sun, should be observed as a universal day of rest. Constantine chose Sunday to be the holy day for Christian worship, as it is already enjoyed special status in the Roman week, named after the pagan sun god Invictus. Jesus, Paul, and all the New Testament churches kept the Sabbath. If Paul and other apostles were alive today, they will be shocked how the majority of the world keeps Sunday as the holy day in place of the Bible Sabbath. But you know what? The truth never gets old. God will always have a remnant in every era of Christian history. and now at end times. People that will receive God's seal, and now at end time. People that will receive God's seal will obey the commandments of God. The commandment that has His name, territory, and possession is found at the heart of His 10 commandments, the 4th commandment. Remember the Sabbath day. Why? For in 6 days, the Lord created the heavens and the earth. Dear friends, evolution is just a figment of imagination. It's just a baseless conclusion from misguided men. Dear friends, Big Bang Theory, an explosion, can never produce creation, but rather chaos. Place your trust in Bible prophecy. Search for Jesus and embrace the truth of God's Word. Spiritualism will arise, dear friends. This is one of the teachings of the wine of Babylon at end times. But Jesus is the resurrection of the life, and He only has the keys to death and Hades. Would you like to follow Christ and His teachings, dear friends? Kindly type in the comment section all together, I reject Rome's doctrines. I reject Rome's doctrines. Thank you, dear friends, for joining Daily Prophecy, and may we continue to seek the truth found in Bible prophecy.